Hey yogis, this is a short but sweet Sunday night yin replacement for practice this week. I hope you enjoy it. I've been talking loads this week and adding into my classes that some of you may have been to, the benefits of forward folding and how they can induce such a luxurious, deep and restful sleep. So I hope that this helps you on your way to yours tonight. We're actually going to start seated with a little bit of breath work to begin. So come into a comfortable seat. And if you want to grab props, I would say blanket, a couple of blocks and a bolster will be absolutely enough tonight. But if you don't have any props at all and you had to pick one thing, I'd get a blanket or a pillow just to support the body in different shapes. When you come to seated, let your shoulders rest, eyes closed. And bring yourself into stillness for a moment here. Allow your body to arrive. And just begin to notice the breath, the inhale, the exhale. Gently smooth out the transition between the both. So it's just moving in one smooth, fluid, circular motion. Inhale and exhale entwined as one. Let the belly be soft. Let the face relax, the jaw unclench. And then start to notice bottom belly and lungs. These two spaces within you responsible for taking in and moving as you breathe. Really slow, almost mesmerizing breath here. Inhale to bottom belly, inhale to rib cage, exhale once through the nose. So it'll be inhale, inhale, exhale. Just to start to bring some awareness to the full body and the whole capacity for the breath. And again, making this like a circular smooth motion. So both the inhales are, there's almost no middle. There's not a transition. You don't feel the breath cut off. There's just one big smooth inhale in two very subtle parts and a lovely, delicious exhale. And once you start to get into your own rhythm with the breath, you really become aware of how the body's feeling. This is a slow, steady, methodical like breath. You might have some yawns, some releases come up, particularly if you're doing this later in the evening. So if you're doing it at night before bed, this practice may induce a few of those big stretchy yawns. Let them move through you. Taking a few more rounds of breath just like this. Then blinking the eyes open, I'm actually going to invite you to stand to begin with. So all of our practice this evening is focusing on the element of forward folding and what we can bring to that through body. I just want to bring you into standing with your feet underneath your hips and standing tall, but not in Tadasana in the sense of squeezing and holding and being really rigid in mountain pose, actually soft. So let the knees be soft, let the toes spread. If you're wearing socks like I am, then just allow the toes to spread there. And then begin to tuck the chin to the chest. We're going to take 5 rounds of spinal rolling. So rounding the upper back. Let the arms drop in front of you. They may naturally sway, but you don't have to force movement there. Let the middle back round, really trying to send center of
Rib cage up towards the ceiling, knees bend, maybe your fingertips gently touch the floor. Perhaps you even squat the body down, roll onto the toes and land in a squat, a really passive shape. And then start to move back up, unfurling the spine. I would say I'm probably going 50% faster than I want you to go. So you've got 4 more like that. And keep gently rolling here. So continue the movement, and as you do, think about how you can soften the face, relax the jaw, separate back teeth away from one another so that you have space here. As you allow the breath to move through you, don't think about having to make the movement last the length of just one breath, because you'll probably struggle to keep the inhale or the exhale going for as long as really we ideally want to be moving. So just allow the movement to be initiated by the breath, and then bring yourself back to movement softly, steadily, calmly, breathing here. And every time you uncurl at the top, let the shoulders move up, back, and most importantly, down away from the ears so that there is space in the neck, freedom in the shoulders. Each time you round forwards, let the upper body move forwards first. Let the knees remain soft. So there isn't this feeling of locking the knees or pushing the bum back. That happens last. The hips going back is like one of the last movements here. It's the upper body rounding, the knees softening. Taking it slow. And the next time that you roll yourself all the way down, you're going to come all the way to the earth. Taking it into your squat. Allowing yourself to move into that little malasana shape. So wiggle your feet slightly wider than your hips. Let your bum come down and just let your chin stay tucked to the chest. Arms heavy. Let the palms face up if the hands get to rest on the earth. And a little bit of gentle movement here. So we're starting our yin practice with movement. So today when we forward fold, we're going to counter pose with twisting. Forward folds and twists. What a beautiful way to send you off into your night's sleep, into your slumber. Let your sit bones lightly land on the earth. And just start to move to grab a hold of your bolster or your pillows. I really invite you, if you don't have a bolster at home, to get maybe a couple of pillows in the bed to bring underneath the backs of the knees. We're going for a very passive and almost that same slumping sensation of forward folding into our kind of what we'd usually think of as Paschimottanasana, but a very chilled version. So the bolster or the cushions are directly underneath the knee. The backs of the knees are supported. And this means there'll be quite a big bend in the legs, okay? So the forward fold won't necessarily really affect the hamstrings as much. It'll be more the lower back, upper back. And then slowly let yourself round forwards, let your forehead maybe head towards the cushion between the knees. Your feet can be about hip distance apart. And just allow the hands to be passive and soft. Allow the body to be heavy here. I'm actually going to use my timer for this one because I know what I'm like. And I'll either hold you here for 20 minutes or 2. As you let yourself just round forward, see if you can close the eyes, see if you can come back to some lovely deep belly breaths. And really notice in the back body the sensation of breathing as you expand and as you soften, as you move in and as you move out. Can you keep the face soft, the back teeth relaxed from one another?
And just get your body to be as heavy as you can, as heavy as feels good. Last minute here. Gently start to unravel the spine. Take it slow and just come up to seated. Keep your legs on the cushions for now. Take a block, and you can do what I've done and wrap it in a blanket if you like, or you could just have the blanket, or if you only have the pillow or the bolster as a prop at home, you'll need to use that instead. But to make a really smooth transition from here, I'm just going to invite you to use your hands to support you and lay all the way back. The bolster can stay as it is for a moment, and then start to walk your feet up onto the cushion or bolster, slide the bolster away a little bit, and then bring the knees up even higher, hugging them in, and drop them over to the left into a twist, sliding the block between the knees, she says. And the reason I put a blanket around it as well is to just make it a little bit softer. And then open up that top arm so the right arm spins all the way open over to the right hand side, and the arms either are in a T shape or cactus the arms in your twist. Just 2 minutes each side for the twist. And just allow yourself to breathe as you arrive in the twist. Let yourself slow down, body and movement. Let the breath really reflect the restfulness of this shape. And when we allow ourselves to lay down in yin, we're really asking the earth to hold us, permission to be held and supported by the earth beneath us. And allow your breath to really float through you. Allow there to be a sense of freedom. Notice your legs get heavier as you exhale each time. It's like you're giving yourself permission to relax just that little bit more. You're allowing yourself the space and time to just be. Stillness, heaviness, in the yin, in the feminine, the gentle, soft energy that she brings. Observe what twisting feels like after you've been in forward fold. Notice the gentle nudging of the spine. Flexion to rotation. Take 2 more breaths here on this side in this twist. Slowly gather your legs with the prop between them and bring yourself back to center. You may need to reshuffle the hips and slowly start to draw the knees over to the right. As you land in your twist, sliding the block again between the knees towards the thighs. And as you lay down, let that top arm, the left arm, float up and open, either cactus the arms or straightening them out. Backs of the arms and the head really heavy. And you can choose whether to turn the head over the opposite shoulder to the way that you're twisting, or whether you just have the head nice and neutral and center, back of the head to the earth. Every exhale, allowing the twist to get just a little bit heavier, the body to drop in a little bit deeper, and spaces within you softening. You next inhale, gather the legs, draw them back to center. Let your feet rest down on the floor, either over the top of the bolster or in front of it. Move the prop out to one side that was between the knees. Pause for a moment here. Steadily start to make your way onto your left side. And then gently come all the way up to seated, bringing the soles of the feet together. Knees butterfly out to the side. And this one might take a while to kind of set up. We're looking for a real big support from the bolster and the blocks. Just allow the body to start to come into forward folding Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet together, knees butterfly out to the side. You can let the hands either rest palms facing up, or if the hands are flat, spread the fingers and then soften so that your hands aren't gripping or tempted to pull you forwards. Very passive pose. So I put a block on the highest setting underneath the head end of the bolster. And that way I get to have support for my head, my neck, and my body without feeling like I'm really having to grip or hold on or overly round my spine. Now, this might not be possible for everyone. And if that doesn't feel good for you or that doesn't work for you, you could maybe stack your hands and let there be even more height to the incline. And again, if you have like a few props, if you have a couple of blocks, you make the stack as high as you need it to be. Actually, often when we come into this shape, not very much of our body weight is against the prop. If all of that doesn't feel good at all, then take it all away and you can just let your body rest, rounding forwards. You can just allow that heaviness in the back body to draw you deeper. And as you invest a little bit of time in this shape, allow yourself to just soften even further. Committing to the idea of rest, dissolving into sleepiness. Getting really gooey and unstuck from your day, from your week. Continuing the energy of yin. A few more breaths here. Slowly begin to unravel the spine coming up. And if you've built yourself a little support here, like I did, then just move the props to one side, just for a moment. Slide the feet forward as you lean back into the hands and straighten out the legs. Just allow the feet to sway left to right. A little bit of movement there. Left leg's going to stay out in front of you. Come up to seated and just gently move the flesh from the sit bones. And if you need something to kind of keep the hips up, I like to build like a little, I want to call this a step, where I fold the blanket over and allow there to be this kind of support for my bum, so that when I come to twist in a moment, because we're going to twist in seated, I feel like I've got a bit of support to allow my pelvis to tilt back, okay? You saw that movement that I just was able to do, because it's like I'm sliding off the front of the blanket. Bending the right knee, we're going to step the right foot up and over the left leg. And if, like me, you've got your socks on, this might be a little hard to keep the foot gripping. Left arm's going to wrap around, right hand is going to come to a block or to the floor behind you. So if you feel like you're having to grip that arm, you could also interlace the fingers here and hold the knee in as you twist, okay? It's not a really deep pressing, it's not a really strong pulling. This twist is all about finding just a gentle release and rotation through the lower back. So these twists aren't about going as deep and fully as we can into the spine or even into the digestive system. It's really about just a countering to forward folding. The spine will enjoy forward folding, sure, but it also absolutely loves and is so excited when you give it twists. It's an action we don't do very much in our everyday life, not intentionally anyway. We might turn the body and move rotationally in the torso. I'm not saying we don't do that, but the intention to twist is the intention to put focus on wringing out the back and creating space there. And that may be something that we don't do every single day. And again, it's just 2 minutes on each side for this twist. Enough time to get the benefits of twisting. Enough time to breathe more space in. And that's exactly how we get a little further into the shape, is when we breathe a little deeper and expand a little bit more fully. That's the inhale is the energy of expansion and building space. The exhale is the energy of contracting softly back inside. Gently start to untwist the body. Slowly unhook the right leg, taking it out in front of you. Bending the left knee, stepping the left foot up and over right leg. Lacing the right arm around. Maybe you lace the fingers together, maybe the left hand comes behind you. I'd ideally avoid hooking the elbow because that takes you really somewhere quite different. You can see the difference in the twist there, can't you? Where my elbow hooks. It's an intentional press and rise, which is what we would do in maybe some twisting, and maybe if we're looking for a bit more kind of yang vitality coming into this yin practice, but we're really not. We're really just looking for it to be just as gentle as we want our sleep to be. Relaxing the face, unclenching the teeth. Again, allow the breath to really guide you deeper into the twist if that's where you want to take this now. So let the breath, the expansion, be the thing that allows you to feel more sensation. Last few breaths here. And then unravel the spine, untwist the legs. We're going to take the same movement again. You could stay sitting onto your blanket or whatever prop you use to keep you up. Bend the right knee, and slide the right knee on top of the left. Shoelace pose, half shoelace pose. The left foot stays extended. When you come forwards in a moment for this, just be really mindful that the shin isn't pressing down on the left knee. If the shin is really actively causing pressure on that kneecap, it's likely to feel super uncomfortable, maybe even verging on pain. Optional to bring a block and stack the head. Some of you will find that chin, nose, or head reaches the knee, but don't worry if it doesn't. The idea here isn't to find the deepest and fullest forward fold. The idea is to get heavy. And again, if you have a few props, you can really build the props up to be exactly what you need them to be. As you close the eyes and breathe. Finding more space. Then you allow your body to draw in a little bit deeper. You may notice the back of the left thigh is really on stretch here, okay? If you need something underneath the back of the left knee, you can start to place something there if that feels supportive. Just allow yourself to draw in just as deeply as feels good here, really nourishing the body. Slowly begin using your hands to help unravel the spine. Leaning back, unhooking the right leg from the left, extending it out in front. Bending the left knee, sliding it on top of the right leg, allowing there to be that sense of knee on top of knee rather than shin on top of knee. Take a deep breath and begin to fold. Every time you exhale, allow yourself a little bit more space to draw in. Slowly from here, begin the process of unfurling the body. Move the props if you're using them out to one side. Gently unhook the left leg. Come to lay on your back, bending your knees. And take the smallest prop possible. So you don't force yourself to take just the smallest one in reach. Take the one that is possible to still do this pose. So coming into legs in the air pose. Something underneath your hips. Now the reason I'm saying the smallest one possible is just so we don't overextend through psoas. We don't come into that deep flexion of the spine, that deep back bend. Let's allow the legs to rise. So I've rolled up my blanket and put it underneath my hips, and I feel like my legs can stay up with that there. But if you bring your legs up and they're moving away from you and you're having to hold or grip and bring them in, you need a slightly bigger prop. So you might need a block and a blanket. You may actually need to have your bolster. A few minutes here. Slowly bending the knees. Take the feet back down to the earth. Lift your hips up off your prop. And start to make the arrangement so that you can come into your most comfortable, supported Shavasana. Allow yourself to be warm, to feel free of anything invading your space. So if when you spread your arms and legs out wide, you touch anything or you're bumping into anything, just move those things out of the way. So you get to be in full decompression, down regulation, and rest without any external disturbances. As usual, with these recordings, I'm actually going to give you the space, take as long as you feel you would need in Shavasana. I think it's a really wonderful benefit of home practice is to not be guided in this particular bit, but don't skip it. Those of you that may be tempted to wait until bedtime for Shavasana, know that it's a completely different rest. This is the ceiling of your practice. This is not sleep. And the ceiling of your practice is the body's recognition and integration of what has happened before we go into what's about to happen next. So moving from one space to the next. Allow yourself at least a couple of minutes here just to breathe. And when you're ready, you can rise, you could say a closing prayer, a mantra, but just enjoy being here now. Thank you so much for practicing with me.